Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're doing another Sun Kil Moon album, which is called April from 2008. And it's an interesting album. The other one that I did was a album full of Modest Mouse covers. So this is finally all Sun Kil Moon originals. And I like it a lot. He does a kind of Neil Young type thing on a lot of these songs, which I think is kind of cool. It's got kind of a 70s inspired thing going on. But it is similar to Tiny Cities, which is the other album that I covered from this band, in the sense that their style is essentially, he finds this like 10 to 15 second guitar loop that he perfects, that he just keeps looping over and over and over again throughout the song. And sometimes the songs go as long as like 10 minutes long. But it's just recorded so well. The effects on the guitars are so perfectly chosen that the effect is really, really nice. And I like his singing a lot on this album as well. He's got the deep Mark Kozelek circa, 30s, early 40s thing going on, which I like. So anyway, I hope you guys find it interesting. I hope you guys like it. So I've got some clips lined up. Let's dive right in.
I'm staring up into the sky while all the rain is pouring down. I'm reaching out for your help, while evil beings hold me backwards. All shapes and shadows move in and out and hover around my bed. Voices arrive and disappear. I want to talk to them. Darkness disintegrates. I'm rising toward a light. A light leading over hills and meadows.
So track one is called Lost Verses, and it sounds like our poor main character is really troubled, that he hears voices, he hears really dark thoughts, he might be suicidal, he's at least depressed, right? But he's asking for help, and it sounds like the help he's asking for is literally from God, because when he says he's looking up at the sky while all the rain is pouring downward, and when he says that he's rising toward a light which leads over hills and meadows, I kind of interpret that as he's seeking help from the one thing that in his mind is, pure good. He's in this dark, dark place in his life, and maybe he's schizophrenic or something. I'm not sure exactly what you'd call it, but he's at this low place, and it's very possible that the people in his life are avoiding him. Maybe he acts out, and so like the people who interact with him are kind of scared of this guy. So if you interpret it like that, his only saving grace is to look up at the sky and to pray, for God to help you. So this poor guy, lost verses, what that means to me is, these are just hidden thoughts, right? They're lost verses. So, his prayers for help, his struggle is only, it's a very personal thing. Like nobody really knows how much this guy is struggling except for Mark, right? So this poor guy. But that's Lost Verses. It's a pretty depressing song to start off the album, and it's also like 10 minutes long. but I like it. But let's move on to track number 2, which is called The Light, which is very Neil Young-y, circa the 70s. So this is an example of what I meant by that. So let's check out a clip from The Light.
And though we've grown so close by now, and though these nights we spent so many hours,
So our poor guy on The Light, he's in love with somebody, he's in a relationship, but he feels so down, he feels so numb, as he says, that not even the love of a woman is able to cure his ills, right? And this has happened before in my life, for example, where, I was in a relationship long term and I was feeling really, really down. And I know that my significant other tried very hard to make me feel better, but sometimes you just can't feel better from an outside source. Sometimes you just have to ride it out. You got to ride out that feeling, and eventually, hopefully, you'll get better. Usually you do, But I like how he puts it. He says, our window is perfect, our windows in perfect clear view that somehow I can't see through. So what that means to me is, he knows that he's got this great situation with a loving significant other, but he's not able to tap into that healing energy that she's providing, even though it's clearly right there. So I like how he puts that. But again, I love the sound of the song. It's very Neil Young. I dig it. But let's move on to track number 3, which is called Lucky Man.
Shining down the alley highways, glorious sun, far from you, from my home, and everyone I love, sinking in the shallow of her infinite pool, silver lakes and palisades and Malibu.
So Lucky Man, I suppose he's referring to himself, Mark Kozelek, in the sense that his career has taken off somewhat. He's kind of an indie superstar, but in order to achieve that, he's had to move to Los Angeles, as he says, away from everyone he loves, away from friends and family, and possibly the girlfriend from The Light. He's traded that in for the Malibu life, for the mansion life, it sounds like. He's sinking in the shallow end of her infinity pool. So he's being introduced around to all these famous people. And I guess on some level, he just misses home, right? He just misses his friends, even though he's being very successful at the moment. There are certain things that you can't replace that I guess he's pondering. He's thinking about it. So I dig it. It's a little philosophical here. I like it. He's starting to really appreciate certain things that money can't buy is another way of putting it too. But that's Lucky Man. So let's move on to Unlit Highway, Unlit Hallway. Let's check it out.
Walking down the unlit hallway of life, there's hope I know. There's an angel, she follows me close, she touches my shoulder, sings words so clear they bring comfort to my ear. She guided me home. Breathe my love, wake my love, hold me my love.
Yeah, I really like this song, and I like how he refers to life for a lot of people as being like an unlit hallway. So even though you are traveling forward toward a direction, which is hopefully the exit, right? You know, the brighter, the greener grass on the other side is there, but you just got to travel down this unlit hallway to get there. So it might seem like you're not actually moving forward positively in your life sometimes, but you are, and these struggles that you're going through are just part of the whole experience, right? So it feels like you're not moving along, it feels like there's no hope, it feels like there's no end in sight, but as he puts it, you're going down a hallway, so even though you don't see your progress, you are progressing, you know. Like, for example, you know, the longer one lives, the more experience one gathers, and the more experience one has, the more wisdom, ideally, the wiser you become, right, ideally. So that's how I like to look at it. So I like these lyrics quite a bit. You know, it's a nice song. I dig it. But that's what I want to say about it. So let's move on to track 5, which is called Heron Blue.
Lit by candlelight and chandelier, and from her headboard perched so high, a million dreams have passed her. Don't cry, my love, don't cry no more. It overwhelms my breaking heart. A minor swell of violins, I cannot bear to hear them.
So Heron Blue is a very depressing song. You know, I hope this didn't happen to Mark, in the sense that it appears to be about this relationship where the woman, I suppose, is very, very sick and is dying, and she's crying about it. She's very sad because she knows that her life is about to come to an end, you know. So he's there trying to comfort her, but she's just so sad, you know. Some people just don't have that that ability to look death in the face and, welcome it, so to speak. And by that I mean, like, there tends to be a psychological thing that happens where when you're going to die, you kind of just come to terms with it and you are able to accept it and die relatively peacefully. But it sounds like this woman was not able to do that, and we can't fault her for that. In fact, you could probably even interpret the song as maybe she's killing herself. Maybe she's taken a lot of pills or something and she's about to die. And the guy knows that, she did this to try to end her life. So, like, there are a couple ways you can interpret it, but I like to think about it as, here's a woman who is just very, very sad that her life is about to be over. It's about to be cut short. And she's probably, as he sings, and from her headboard, perched so high, a million dreams have passed her. So the way I interpret that is, she's dying, and while she's dying, she's having these million dreams, and these dreams are her, all of her regrets, her life regrets, right? So she's probably thinking about all of the things she should have done in her life that she never did because she thought she was going to live forever, I mean, I'm sure this is true for most people, where if they were told, you've got 6 months to live, then they would immediately start doing their bucket list items. But it sounds like this woman was just caught off guard, and she wasn't, she's not happy with her life. She's not thrilled with the fact that she probably didn't do a lot of the things she wanted to do. So these millions of dreams are passing her by, and she's sad about it. So she's having this moment with Mark. So it's very romantic in a way, but very sad. But that's Heron Blue. So let's move on to track 6, which is called Moorestown.
Our love grew more one summer there. We'd spend our days just driving round old parking lots and neighborhoods, our framed and charming Moorestown. I followed her across the through parks in London, coasts of Pearl, Newport, Kentucky, New Orleans. We shared a million laughs, it seemed.
So Moorestown appears to be about another woman. It might even not be about Mark, but it seems like, as he says, they've spent a lot of time together. They traveled the world together. They've had so many moments together. And as he puts it, it's like they've lived a million lives together, right? So he's reflecting on the fact that this woman is no longer in his life, as he starts talking about after this clip. So he's just philosophizing. Is like, how can I have so many great moments with a woman? How can I have done all of these things, but at the end of the day, she's no longer in my life, right? How is that possible? And I think about this myself because, I was in a long-term relationship and I did many, many things with my significant other. And to go from that to just, they're no longer in your life is just the strangest feeling in the world. It's just surreal at times. So I imagine that he's reflecting on this, it's kind of just an absurd reality to life that these things can and do happen many times to many people. So it's just part of life, and we all have to deal with it. We have to just get over it. But I'm glad that he's talking about it. Many people can relate to Moorestown. I like this song. But that's all I have to say about it. So let's move on to track 7, which is called Harper Road.
My blood runs through my only daughter. Her eyes are mine, so wild with wonder. Be my voice, my light, my power. Be with me in my leaving hour. Brighter than moonlight glows, my love does for you. And dreams of Harper Road, I'll always find you.
So it sounds like Mark had a child with one of these women, right? And as he says, she'll be with him in his leaving hour, ideally, right? Because something that we all fear is being alone and having no family and no kids when we're really old. And dying alone is just such a scary thought. So he loves his daughter. He's very happy that his former wife either died or left him. We're not quite sure which one it is, but at least he still has his daughter as the product of their love, and he's just thinking long term as to like, I'm happy that there will be somebody there for me when I'm dying in the hospital or wherever it is. So he's going super deep there. He's going way far into the future. Kind of a depressing thought, to be honest, to be having. But maybe it's late at night and he's had a few drinks, so he's thinking about life. So I imagine this is probably the girl that died, because at the end of the clip he mentions in dreams of Harper Road is where he'll find her. So it sounds like this is the daughter of the girl who died, and they're reunited in his dreams. So he's dreaming of their life together. And so in some weird sense, some weird mystical sense, they get to reunite occasionally in his dreams. And that comforts him. So he's thinking about all the things that comfort him. His love for his daughter, the fact that his daughter will probably be there to comfort him when he's dying, and the fact that he gets to kind of sort of reunite with his love now and then when he's sleeping. So he's thinking about all these things, and I can dig it. But that's Harper Road. So let's move on to Tonight the Sky, which is another kind of Neil Young-y song. I like it a lot. So let's check it out.
I left her long ago one summer, chasing dreams. I hungered sweet explosions, sweet nothing. I broke her heart, not knowing she'd return. Engraven scars deep in me forever.
So that's a little bit of Tonight the Sky. I mean, again, I want to just reiterate that these songs are like 5 to 10 minutes long each, so I can't go into excruciating detail. But I picked parts of them that really stand out to me. And so this part really stood out to me because it sounds like, again, we have Mark, who's kind of reminiscing about his life with this girl who died. And he's just thinking about the fact that he, as he says, he left this girl years ago to pursue his music career. But eventually she came back into his life and, you know, they had a kid and everything. And I assume what he's getting at is he's kind of like really sad about the fact that there are so many years in his life where he could have spent time with this woman that he loved who is no longer there. And so he's just very sad about the fact that he's missed so much time that he could have spent with this person. And he's debating whether chasing his dreams was worth it. You know, because he traded love for his career, essentially. So I imagine that's what he's thinking about in the song a little bit. And it's something that we all have to deal with at some point or another. We have to pick and choose priorities. So I guess on some level, he's regretting some life choices he's made. But that's Tonight the Sky. Again, very Neil Young-y. I love the sound of it. But let's move on to track 9, which is called Like the River.
I knew her back from when she was young. Those days poured out faster than rounds from a gun, scattered like shells and lost to the sea. Like the river, the days move rapidly. I have all these memories, I don't know what for. I have them and I can't help it. Some overflow and spill out like waves. Some I will harbor for all of my days. I burned like oil, you grew like a flower, rising toward your magical light. I was not yours and you were not mine. Our true love finds us when it is time.
So Like the River is another reflection on his time with this woman. You know, he says they were together when they were young, but the days felt like they were going by so fast, so rapidly. So he wasn't really able to cherish this time with her, it sounds like. But he has all of these wonderful memories of their time together. And so he's trying to hold on to something, you know, a good memory to keep with him for the rest of his life. So he's kind of regretting, again, the fact that like he hadn't cherished this woman enough in his mind. Like he's kind of regretting maybe chasing his dreams a little bit, you know. But you know, in the end, he's happy because he says, you know, I was not yours and you were not mine. Our true love finds us when it is time. So he's cherishing the fact that this was true love, you know, that it was able to overcome the reality of life, which is, you know, that people have to make choices about making a living. So his choice was to chase his dreams, to travel around the country, to be a musician. And I guess he's just happy that the love he had for this woman when they were young was actually real, that she eventually reunited with him and they had a kid together. So like he's weighing the pros and cons, right? He's like, well, I did kind of waste time not being with her, but at the same time, you know, what we had was real, and destiny has basically allowed us to have the ultimate love end game, which is having a child together. So he's just wrestling with all of these thoughts, is what it sounds like. But that's like the river. That's all I have to say about it. So let's move on to track 10, which is another crazy long song, another 9-minute song. It's called Tonight in Bilbao.
I walk the old eroded streets, a million miles now have gone behind me. Walked in the room, soaked up its fumes, surveyed the faces I'm lying to. Gave what I had, gave my heart, though I was broken and falling apart. Gave for the memory of a friend, not for myself and not for them.
So Tonight in Bilbao is dealing with the reality of what it's like to be a musician who's on the road and trying to make it, trying to be famous. You know, Tonight in Bilbao implies that he's probably on tour with his band, Red House Painters, or maybe it's Sun Kill Moon. We're not sure which. So he's in Bilbao playing a show, and when he's there, he has to like suck up to people, and he has to not be his true self. And so a part of him just feels like, you know, he just feels awful about it. He doesn't like that he has to put on a front just to try to get ahead in this world. Like, he wants to be himself, right? So he's just sad about it. You know, he says he gave what he had. He gave his heart, though he was broken and falling apart. So again, you know, he left this woman that he absolutely loved, and he's lucky that she reunited with him. But, you know, he left this woman, and the whole time that he was apart from this woman, he just felt awful about it. You know, he made the decision to choose his career, but in doing so, he just felt absolutely broken and sad, being away from this woman. You know, so they had real love, is what it sounds like, and unfortunately, as we've learned earlier, she passed away at a young age. And so I kind of imagine April being the name of the album is the name of this woman. You know, I could be wrong about that, but April's a female name, so let's go with that. But anyway, that's Tonight in Bilbao. That's all I have to say about it. So let's move on to the last track of the album, which is called Blue Orchids.
A burning star on long lost highways. My fallen lover died so young, and all the gifts you gave I have them, and all your love I'm still holding on to. She rides the halo of the sky. My fallen sister died so young. A last goodbye I wanted to give, to bathe the loss from your fading eyes. Close these sweep and long gray curtains.
just a really lovely song, a great way to end the album. And, here we've got Mark, once again, just thinking about his love and just being very sad about the fact that he wasn't able to be there during her last moments. He was probably asleep when she died, or maybe even possibly on tour when she died. Something happened. But he feels bad about it, and he's just thinking about her and all their memories together, And I just thought of something. I made a connection. So in an earlier song, when she was dying in bed, he mentioned that she was under a chandelier. And if you notice, the album cover looks like a chandelier, kind of. So this might be the chandelier that was above April's head, assuming April is the name of the woman. So I like how that ties into everything. But that's April. It's a very late night, very laid back, somber, kind of sad album. I think it's very lovely, and I hope that you guys thought it was interesting. But that's all I want to say about April. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to comment, like and subscribe. If you thought I had some interesting things to say, it would really help out. But yeah, please feel free to say whatever comes to mind. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Whatever you have to say, I'll check it out. But that's April. That's Sun Kill Moon, so check it out and have a good one.